Welcome to the Real Estate Show on WGBF AM with your host, Charlie Butler. This is where you'll learn to sell your home quickly and for more money. And now, the host of the Real Estate Show, the guy who guarantees to sell your home or he'll buy it himself, Charlie Butler.
Good morning, Tri-State. This is the Charlie Butler Real Estate Show. I am Charlie Butler, and I'm here today with my co-host, Evie Barr.
Good morning, Charlie. How are you?
Good morning, Evie. Doing great. It's almost Christmas time.
Almost. Are y'all ready to go?
I'm as ready as I'm going to get.
Okay. Gifts are all bought, or somebody else is taking care of it for you?
As you said off the air, someone else is taking care of it, So I've been diligently, well, no, I can't even lie and say that. So, okay, well, we better, so are you ready to go?
I've learned that if I start shopping early, I'll keep on buying. So I just wait until the last week every time. So this next week is go time to buy my Christmas for everybody and get wrapped and ready to go.
And I think a lot of people assume in our business, with myself with being real estate and Evie being mortgages, that nobody's doing anything this time of year. But that's just not true, is it, Evie?
No, honestly, I'm crazy busy right now. People needing pre-approvals, people needing to know payment amounts. And I've actually had some people say, they're really ready to buy, but there's just nothing on the market for the price range that they're looking at. What are you seeing regarding sales of homes? Is the inventory still low? The
inventory is still low, and unfortunately, we are not, for whatever reason. And a lot of people say they want to wait till spring. However, if they do wait till spring, that's when everybody's going to be putting their house on the market. There are a lot of buyers out there now. They want to buy.
Yes.
And there are just certain price ranges, especially in that $200,000 and under price range, that there are tons of buyers. So anybody's thinking about putting their house on the market, give us a call. We're the home. If we can't sell your home, we'll buy it. So call me at 812-499-7758. We'll give you a free market analysis on your home. And speaking of free, and Evie, people wonder about the pre-approval. What's it going to cost them? How much is that going to cost them to get pre-approved for a mortgage?
There's no cost to get pre-approved. And going back to what you were saying about waiting until the spring to buy, people need to think about their cost of waiting. The Fed recently hiked rates, which had an effect on the mortgage interest rates. So I have some buyers that have been kind of dragging their feet to buy a home, and their rate has jumped up over 0.5% just because of what's going on in the market. So if someone is wanting to buy, they might want to go ahead and jump into it now, because who knows where rates will be in the spring. Plus, homes are probably going to appreciate along with that. So now's the time to do it. But if someone does want to get pre-approved, I would love to talk to them, and they can always give me a call at 812-463-3199.
And you would know better than I, but I mean, if the rates have jumped up, for example, 0.5%, and I know from what I read yesterday that they're expecting additional rate increases in 2017. Somebody's borrowing $200,000. That's a significant amount of money.
Definitely.
Well, rates are still, don't get us wrong, rates are still great.
Yes. Yes. And you know how on your Facebook, how it will post up things from the past. And it's funny to see it post up on my Facebook page, where maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, I posted, can't believe rates are down to 5%. So right now we're still under that 5% mark, or right at, which is great. But between the elections and Fed hiking the rates are just going to keep on going up.
Yeah, I agree. In this, the stock market has been, very good since the election. It's
Yes.
flirting with 20,000. We're going to have Gene Dawson on from Commerce Bank to talk about the commercial rates here in a little bit. What effect this is going to have. But now, again, as you were saying, now's the time to buy, because if you can find the home you're looking for, the bottom's gone. Those
Yes.
of you that were going to time the bottom, you missed it. Okay.
Yes.
And but it's still, like you said, it's still what's probably an average rate right now.
Oh, that's hard to say.
I know it is,
You know,
but-
I don't quote rates.
Yeah.
Rates are so dependent on what loan program a borrower is going with, their credit score, the loan to value, the loan amount. There's so many different factors that I'm never comfortable. Even if somebody calls in, which I had somebody this past week who called in and said, okay, what's the interest rate? And it's tough to tell someone without getting a whole lot more details as to what their situation is.
Right. And it is. But, even if they're 4%.
Yes.
I mean,
which are
still,
great.
that's awesome. I mean, I thought I was getting a great deal in 1992. And it's actually before I was in real estate. Wayne Ellis was representing me, in fact. And he called me and he said, man, you must have good credit. You got an 8 1/8.
Wow.
Which was a super good rate at the time.
Yes. Yes.
But so anyway, buyer, they can reach you. And what's your email, Evie, if they need to?
My email is ebar, which is BARR, at waterstonemortgage.com.
And if you are looking to buy, while we're saying the inventory is low, there are homes out there still, and just call one of our buyer specialists at 812-430-1708. Or the seller specialist the listing specialist for a free market analysis at 812-449-0050. And again, this is the Charlie Butler Show with my co-host, Evie Barr from Waterstone Mortgage. And let's get right in. We've got a special guest today who I know is, he told me a little before the show he was under the weather a little bit, and he's worried about his voice, so we'll just see how he holds out. But we've got with us today Gene Dawson. Gene is Gene's vice president of commercial banking, senior vice president of commercial banking at Commerce Bank here in Evansville.
Good morning.
Good morning, Gene.
How are you?
Doing great.
Good.
So,
thanks for having me on.
Oh, thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it. You want to tell people a little, when they hear us talk about the residential side all the time. People that may not know. So what does a commercial banker do?
Commercial bankers, especially at Commerce Bank, we're a pretty small community bank. So we focus on the small and medium-sized business owners in Evansville, Indiana.
Right.
We're locally owned, locally operated, local decision-making. So basically everything happens here in Evansville.
Okay. So as far as I'm assuming, even though you're small, you're full service, whether it be, obviously deposits, loans, whatever.
Absolutely. Yes. Full service. Pretty much anything the big boys can do, we can do as well. We just offer it with the personal touch.
And this one I can personally say something about, because I've had several clients use Gene, and they have been very happy with Gene and with Commerce Bank. But Gene, I know we were talking off air, and I know some people may have noticed the sign there on the Lloyd. You guys are getting ready to have another location, correct?
We are, yes. We're pretty excited about it. It's out on the Lloyd Expressway and Cross Point. It'll be a full service location and pretty high traffic area. So we're excited about that.
Are you looking forward to it opening at the beginning of the year? Do you have an estimated opening time?
We're not saying an exact time yet,
Okay.
although it should happen sometime in the first quarter.
Great.
And for those that don't know, there was a Fifth Third there, and if you've driven down the Lloyd, there was a Fifth Third there that I guess relocated, and Commerce acquired that that building. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. Yes.
And I'm not going to lie, I've been wondering about when you guys would open, because I saw your sign and I thought, man, that's a great location for you to go in at.
We've got some remodeling to do, and it's all dependent upon when we can agree on what it should look like and then when we can get the work done.
With your commercial lending, I know you're Evansville based. How far out will you lend? Do you guys go into Kentucky and Illinois and other states?
We will. And actually, while I say we're locally based and all the decision making is here, that's true. But we also just opened a location in New Albany.
Oh,
in the
wow.
Clarksville
I didn't know
area.
that.
Yes. Yeah.
And
So we've got a presence over there. We've got about 6 bankers now on staff, and it's full service.
great. So, with you being locally based, I don't want people to misunderstand. It doesn't mean that you can't do the bigger loans that some of the bigger boys can do.
No, we're actually at a size now where we can look at almost any size transaction. Again, we really try to focus on the small and medium-sized business owners, which our legal lending limit will allow us to accommodate most of those needs.
Whenever you say the small business owners, like kind of the mom and pop shops.
That would be the typical way, a lot of folks refer to that. It's the locally owned small business owner that probably everybody in this room knows
Yes.
and has dealt with. So.
Yeah.
Right. But you also, and I know from experience, you deal with several real estate investors also.
We do, yeah. A lot of folks that like to own commercial real estate, strip centers, multifamily properties, that kind of thing.
And so for good loans, you're actively looking for or good clients like that that are bringing good loans. You're actively looking
absolutely.
for that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, banks make their money by making loans.
Okay. That's it. Fair enough.
I've heard a day without interest is a day without sunshine.
That's true. So true.
Speaking of interest, Debbie, Gene, I know the interest rates are affected differently I know on the residential side, when the Fed interest rate goes up, it is more psychological because those are tied to something, something different. However, on the commercial side, it's a direct tie into the Fed rate, isn't it?
It really is much more direct than it is on the residential side. Residential side has a lot of factors at play, and rates sometimes move in advance of a Fed move. Sometimes they react to it. On the commercial side, pretty much any time the Fed makes a move, we immediately make a move on our rate side too. We also, when we set what I would call a medium-term rate, a 5-year or 10-year rate, if we do that on the commercial side, we will look at what we believe in our shop the rates are going to do. So, which is a lot of what the mortgage market does as well.
I've never worked in the commercial world at all. Are all of those interest rates generally fixed interest rates, or are they adjustables?
We do both.
Okay.
And it depends really on our borrowers' needs and risk appetite. A lot of borrowers will prefer to do an adjustable rate to take advantage of a lower rate when it's available to them. And most of the time what they're thinking is they're not going to borrow the money for as long as somebody that's more interested in a long-term rate.
Okay. Well, again, you listen to the Charlie Butler Real Estate Show with Evie Barr. We're here today with Gene Dawson, the Senior VP of Commercial Banking for Commerce Bank. Gene, we're talking about loans a lot. We're talking about the different types of businesses, but there's other services. I mean, you're a full service bank.
We are a full service bank. Yeah, we do CDs, a lot of savings accounts for individuals. We offer pretty competitive rates on all of that stuff, and we also do auto loans, et cetera. So,
and some people know that I'm one of the owners of the local Keller Williams, and we have our accounts with Commerce, and we have been very, very happy with them. So,
Gene, if somebody wants to contact you regarding commercial questions, or if they just want to call the bank to check on a savings or checking account, what's the best number for them to call?
Well, my direct line is 812-492-1822, and I accept all calls.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
It may not be true because I'm always getting put to voicemail when I call you.
I accept all calls unless I'm with somebody.
You aren't scared to screen your calls.
Gene, as far as the future, I mean, I know none of us have a crystal ball, but from your experience, and I know you've got vast experience in commercial lending, What are you seeing that the future is going to look like?
Well, as far as what the interest rate environment is going to look like, or what the economic development in Evansville?
Yeah, for a little bit of both. I mean, is the situation where as you remember when we got to like 2007, 2008, when money started really tightening up. Money is relatively, I don't want to say it's real easy, but it's not bad right now to get, as far as someone who's qualified to get a loan. Do you foresee that continuing? And how do you, again, the overall picture, how do you see the economic development situation?
Well, we're very positive about the growth and development that's going on in the Evansville market. Obviously, with everything that's going on downtown right now and the way everything feeds into that, we believe we'll have some strong days ahead of us in the marketplace. As far as interest rates go, there's no question we're in a rising rate environment right now, but we believe it'll be a very moderate pace at which everything rises. So that all translates, I believe, into very positive things for the Evansville market and for commercial lending in general. So then basically, even though interest rates are rising, what you see right now, you don't see a really tightening of credit. We don't at this time. We think everything, I believe personally that most bankers have learned from the mistakes of the past, and everybody's being a lot more prudent in what they're doing these days. It may appear that credit has become easier to get than it was, but what we went through back in the 08-09 period was so unusual that, quite frankly, a lot of folks that were in banking, myself included, had never experienced it before. So we didn't know what to do next. I mean, that's the real answer. And things did take longer back then. Everybody was more careful back then. And fortunately, I believe every human being can learn, and I think we all did learn from that.
As I heard the president of one of the local banks told me, he said we blame the borrowers from that era, that 04, 05, 06, when money got so easy. But he said the bankers carried just as much blame as the borrowers do.
Yeah, and I think that's true. Everybody gets they get in a little bit of a cycle. They get their blinders on. They just keep doing what they've always done. And if we don't take the time to step back and think about what's really happening and how much sense it makes, that's when we all get in trouble.
I think as I've said, and I've heard others say, I think in that time period that we're talking about, we kind of forgot the laws of physics. Yeah. What goes up must come down.
Right.
We forgot the coming down part there. And Gene, a couple other things, but I've noticed in some of the trade publications that foreclosures have been, the lowest they've been in probably close to 10 years at this point. Do you look for that to stay low for a while, or do you think because maybe credit has got, I'm not saying credit's easy, but it's gotten easier than what we saw in, say, 2008, 2009. Do you look for that to go back up again?
Well, I think the foreclosure market is like any other market. It's going to go up and down over time. It does ebb and flow a little bit. The market has gotten so tight, I guess, as far as what's available out there, what everybody can have and hold on to, that I think it'll stay relatively low over the near term anyway.
So, and when you say near term, what are you thinking? I know we're asking for a guess here.
I'm on here as a commercial banker, Charlie, not an economist.
Okay.
But as long as the economy stays strong, people are working, and unemployment stays low, and folks look into the future and see positive things, then I believe the foreclosure rate will remain low. And in Evansville, Indiana, we always experience lower rates of any of that than nationwide. So.
Yeah, that's very true. We don't, as we always say, we don't see that huge gain that they see in California or Las Vegas or Florida, but we also don't see that huge loss whenever it goes down. It's usually stays. It'll go up a little bit or it'll go down a little bit, but it stays pretty stable.
Right.
A question I'm asked a lot, and as some of you know, I deal on the commercial and residential side. What goes into, and I don't want to get where you have to say too much, but you and Evie, Evie's doing residential mortgages, you're doing commercial mortgages. You guys she's looking at something completely different. If I go see Evie, she's going to look at something completely different, sell me a house, than if I come see you and I want to buy an apartment complex.
That's true to a certain extent. I mean, we all fundamentally, when we extend credit, we look at the same things: capacity to repay, what the collateral is, what the character of the borrower is, those types of things. But in the prospect of a multifamily project, as an example, versus a homeowner, when you underwrite the homeowner, you're going to look at historical income sources, their credit, and how much excess capacity they have to afford the new home.
Yes.
On the commercial side, we can't do that if somebody's looking at building a new apartment complex. We have to look at what the future income stream is going to be from that project. So we have to look at the reasonableness of the projections, the saturation of the market and the product type that they're bringing to us, and the capacity of the borrower to operate the project successfully. So there's a little bit more of a character component that goes into the commercial side of it. And we think we do that well at Commerce Bank because we develop the relationship with the borrower over time.
And I think that's kind of where I was trying to go, Gene, was where Evie, no offense here, Evie, you really don't care what their character is if they've got a good credit score. I mean, you're going to loan the money.
I hate to say that about my borrowers, but I'm thinking that my side of it on residential is a whole lot more black and white, where Gene has a whole lot of gray out there because of projections.
To a certain degree, but I'm going to argue that credit score is a pretty good indicator of the borrower's character as well.
But however, and from dealing with the commercial side, you see guys who pay their bills and are very good credit risk, but because of the amount of leverage that they have, their credit score's been pushed down somewhat.
Could be, yes, yeah. But it would still be within a tolerable range if they handle their credit appropriately.
So I guess where I'm going, Gene, or where I'm trying to go here is you get a lot of newer people who are wanting to get in commercial, invest in a strip center, in a small multifamily project, whatever that is. And they've bought a home and they've seen what, they went through. Not saying it's bad, but it's just different.
Right.
I guess where I'm trying to go is what can they expect different? Because you talk to commercial bankers, again, as you said, look more at the character of the borrower.
We do. And I think it's important to say that we develop the relationship over time, and we try to understand what the needs of the borrowers are and what they might want to try to do in the future, so that it's not just a transaction that we're trying to get completed. Commercial borrowers most entrepreneurs have a very unique outlook on life, and they're always looking for the next thing. And so anybody that's new into the business world, I like to see them walk before they run. I like to see them have a success before they try to take a bite out of the whale, so to speak.
Right.
So if you have someone that is wanting to jump into it, do you recommend that they team up with another investor if they're wanting to do investment property of some sort? That's
a great way for a lot of folks to get started, and I know a lot of the people that own investment property in Evansville have done at some point in the past. They've had a mentor of some sort that do that. I would say the best experience, though, or the best teacher is experience.
Yes.
The best way for folks to learn is to do it on their own without a crutch out there. And if you have a mentor, somebody that you trust that will bring you into the fold and teach you their business, that's a great way to do it. But experience, there's no substitute for experience.
Yes.
Gene, I'm just curious if you feel this way. I had a commercial banker tell me once that he said, when I sit down and I'm talking to someone about a project, said no matter how strong they are financially, if when we're done talking, if I think, if everything goes bad, this guy's going to go bankrupt first thing. He said, but if I'm talking to somebody may not be quite as strong but still good, and I'm thinking, this guy is going to do everything he can to pay me back if everything goes bad. He said, I'm going to go with the second guy every time.
Well, that's the character assessment that we all do. And you do have after you do this for so long, you do get a feeling in your gut about some folks. There's no denying that. We like to look at the fundamentals. We like to look at how the project works on paper. But at the end of the day, if I don't feel like I can put my head on my pillow at night and sleep if I give money out to prospect A, I'm probably not going to do it.
Right. And you hear that from a lot of commercial bankers, I think, that have been doing this like yourself a long time, that feel that way. We're close to running out of time, but we wanted to ask you, as you go around Evansville, you see all these new multifamily complexes being built.
You do.
And
a lot of them.
A lot. I mean, there's a lot of units being built out there, and look like very nice units for the most part. What's you guys feeling about the future of multifamily? Are we oversaturated? Is this a good thing? The
multifamily market has experienced a great deal of growth in Evansville. I don't think there's anybody that would argue that. But what we're seeing so far is it's going to create a natural migration. The people that are going to rent are going to that are the stronger renters are going to flock to the newer units, and then there'll be an upward migration from the remainder of the units. So probably the complexes that are going to suffer the most are the lower end. And I think we've also seen some of the older units actually find other uses. They're not all residential rental anymore.
Okay. All right. But again, there is such, as you said, there is such demand right now in the single family. There's demand for the older units too.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
but I think it's something certainly that in the banking industry we're all watching, and we're paying attention to the number of units that are coming on market. That's a fair question and a fair concern for everybody.
Gene, we're seeing we've only got about a minute left. So do you want you want to let everybody know how they can get a hold of you if somebody's interested in
If you're interested in talking about a small business loan, please give me a call at 812-492-1822. I'd love to meet with you and learn about what you have going on.
What's your email, Gene?
It's gdawson, GDAWSON @bankwithcommerce.com.
Gene Dawson, thank you very much, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you guys.
Okay.
Thanks, Gene.
And Evie, we are coming by about 30 seconds left, I think. And you got anything? It's going to be exciting on Christmas Day. Christina Rhodes is going to be here.
I know.
That's such a, when you think about Christmas, Christina's one of the people you would think about because she's such a giving person.
She delivers blessings.
She does.
And people will learn more about that whenever she is on.
So for Evie Barr, and for Gene Dawson, this is Charlie Butler. We're wrapping it up today. Everybody have a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you Christmas Day.
You've been listening to The Real Estate Show on WGBF AM with the guy who guarantees to sell your home or he'll buy it himself, Charlie Butler. Join us every week at this time to find out how to sell your home quickly and for more money. For more information, email cbutler@kw.com or visit charliebutlerteam.com.